Welcome to today's session. Today we are going to be working our quads, a little bit of inner thigh, shoulders, biceps, and a little bit of back. So for our weights today, you need one heavy weight. So I'm going to be doing 20 pounds. That's for our quads. And then two weights of dumbbells for shoulder presses and bicep curls. I'm going to be using 10 pounds and I have 2-pound wrist weights on because 10 pounds is a little bit too light for me, but I don't have like 12-pound weights. So that's where things like wrist weights come in really handy. We're also going to be kind of standing on our weights as an option. So you'll need something like that. If you find standing on your weights uncomfortable in bare feet, you can wear shoes or get like towels or something to kind of pad them. So you can get your music started and your weights all together and join me on the mat for our warm-up. So we're going to start with our standing cat-cow. So hands on quads here, and then just starting by curling the spine, tucking the tailbone under, and then reversing, reaching that tailbone far away, looking slightly forward. And as always, starting to connect with your breath. Just letting go of whatever else is going on in your life and try to take this time to focus on you. Because maybe this is the only kind of you time you're taking today, and you definitely deserve to take at least, 30, 40 minutes for yourself. And we'll do one more here, just flowing with your breath. And then standing up, we're going to do gentle squats to start. So feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, toes slightly turned out. And like you're sitting back in a chair. As always, you can start with kind of a smaller range and then getting a little bit lower each time as we warm up. Maybe your glutes are feeling it a little bit from yesterday. Mine are. I bought this new microphone, so hopefully the sound quality is maybe a little bit better, but I just knocked it. And then we can start to add arms. So coming down and then standing up, reaching up nice and high. You can arc your arms out to the side if you want. Take your warm up as you need it. It's a little bit harder for me since I'm wearing these 2-pound wrist weights. Really warming up the shoulders. And just think of your shoulders moving around that shoulder joint nice and smoothly. And you can add on lifting up to tippy toes if you want, starting to get a little bit more into the ankle and feet. Always breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more here. And then coming up, and then we'll just do a little bit of plie squats. So that's where we're in a wider stance, our toes are turned out even more. And now instead of sitting like back behind you in a chair, it's almost like your chair is right under you. And you're just gonna sit down into your chair and standing up. So our knees are pointing in the same direction as our toes. You don't want to have like your knees pointing forwards because that's just going to hurt your joints. Oh, and I should mention for today, it does require kind of like balancing sort of. So if you want to grab a chair or do this by a wall, definitely recommended if you're maybe a little bit newer to these exercises, or maybe it's just been a while, or your balance just isn't great. My balance isn't that great. Something to work on. For 2 more here. And last one. Okay, so now this is an option for today. It helps to work your quads, the front of your legs a little bit more, which is what we want to focus on today since we did glutes and hamstrings yesterday. So you're going to take 2 weights. It can be any size. I'm just using my 10-pound ones because that's what I'm going to use for my arms later, so it just makes it easier. So weights of any size. And then you're going to take your heavy weight, or you can use like 2 smaller weights, but I just find holding 1 weight's a little bit easier for this. And we're going to do our sissy squats. So you're going to stand on with your heels on your weights. This angle is going to turn on our quads more, the front of our legs, more than the back of our legs. Like I said, if you don't like standing on these weights, you can always just do flat feet on the ground. It's just going to recruit a little bit more of the backs of your legs and your butt. So a sissy squat is, I'll show you without a weight first. So instead of a traditional squat where we're kind of sitting back and down like into a chair and I'm really creasing at the hips here, a sissy squat for our quads is going to try to keep our hip creases open. So, and my chest is going to stay like forwards or almost up towards the ceiling instead of like a traditional squat where it's pointed a little bit more forwards or downwards. So trying to keep our hip creases open here. Our knees kind of reach forward over our toes and get as low as you can, and then you're standing up. So I'm going to grab my weight. If you want to do a few maybe without weights just to get that pattern, you can look at yourself in a mirror. That's a really good idea too. So sitting back, shoulders are relaxed but not pressing down, and then bending at the knees and coming back up. If you need to just hold on to a wall or a chair without the weight, that's always an option. And as I said yesterday, the goal is always between like 8 to 15 reps. If you can do these all day, not all day, if you can do like 20, 25 of these, then it's time to increase your weight. However, if you can't do any, or like 3, then your weight's too heavy. And always with good form. So we're kind of keeping that chest open, sort of towards the ceiling. And if you do find it easy, maybe try going lower before you add weight. You can do that as well. We've got 5. And I'm kind of slipping off of my weight. 4, 3, 2, you got it. Last one. Now we're going to stay low. You can drop the weight if you need to. We're just going to do little pulses, up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. Breathing through it. For 5, 4, hopefully your legs are burning like mine. 3, 2, and 1. So now you can put that heavier weight out of the way until our next round. And you can put the other weights just out of the way. We're going to use them in a second. But before that, we're going to do more quads to kind of burn them out. So I'll move these so that you can see a little bit better. So I'll demo this one as well. It's kind of the same stance that we did yesterday for our glutes. But again, instead of, so like my feet are flat on the mat, my knees are on the mat. If this isn't great for your knees, go back to just doing sissy squats. And some people like to have like a pillow underneath their feet. You can do that as well if this is always uncomfortable on your feet. But yesterday we were sitting kind of back and down and hinging at the hips and coming up. Today, again, we're going to keep our hips open and we're going to lean back and then pressing through our feet to come forward. Really thinking of our quads, the front of our legs, doing the work. Try not to squeeze your glutes too much. Arms can be down by your side. I just, you know me, I always like to have them kind of on my hips just to make sure right and left are going back equally and coming up. And we're not using any weight here. I mean, I guess I have my wrist weights on, but. So as I said, if this is kind of uncomfortable, you can try, or even just like rolling the mat up underneath your ankles. We've got 5 here. And 4. Obviously, the lower you go, the harder it is. My knees always crack. For 3. Some people like to have their arms out. Just make sure that your shoulders aren't starting to hunch up by your ears. And then last one here. Good. Okay. So for our shoulders, we're going to do an overhead press today. You can do it standing, sitting, kneeling. I think I'll do kneeling to show you, just in case the camera kind of cuts it off. I might move up to standing. So we're going to start with our palms facing forwards. And then we're just going to press up and then come back down. I'm not touching my weights today. I'm keeping them kind of shoulder distance apart. And I'm doing the full range of motion. So my elbows are kind of coming down today. This is using our upper back muscles, obviously our shoulders, your biceps are working a bit. I'm gonna stand up because when I lift kind of heavier, I like to have this stagger stance because it just helps my spine to stay in this neutral position. I find if my feet are both under me, I might start to kind of like arch, either sticking my butt out or tucking my butt in too much. We've got 5. Whew. 4. And again, do as many as you can. 3 in good form. 2. Yeah, I only have like 1 more in me in good form. And last one. The last one wasn't actually that great. Okay. So now biceps. You can use the same weights. You might want to drop a little bit. Again, I like to stagger my stance here. So maybe if you want to stagger, you can switch feet. Catch your breath. And I'm just going to do kind of a regular curl here while I'm twisting. If you want to do a hammer curl, you can do that today. That's just where your palms keep facing each other the whole time like this. Or you can do palms facing forward the whole time. We're trying not to swing and rock our body, rock our arms, rock our back. Okay, we're going to do pulses. So we only have 4 more here. For 4. 3. 2. And last one. We're going to come up to mid-range now. So that's about 90 degrees. And we're just going to go up an inch, down an inch, up an inch, down an inch. Breathe through it. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting so warm. Okay. Now we're going to do kind of a clean, but not the press part of it. So our palms are going to face our body the whole time, and you're going to lead with your elbows. It's like you're pulling up your pants. So palms face your body and they kind of skim along your body, and you're pulling up your pants really high, kind of like to your bra line, and then lowering down. My elbows are leading, and my hands are the last thing to come up. Wrists are nice and strong. So it's like if you had a wrist brace on. For most exercises, you want to kind of pretend like you have a wrist brace on because you don't want your wrists doing all of the moves. And we don't have any pulses here or anything. This is also, you're using those upper back muscles again, shoulders, biceps. For 4, 3, 2, and last one, and lowering down. Whew. Okay, we have our next round of sissy squats. So placing the weights back down, kind of beside each other for those sissy squats, grabbing your heavy weight. Take your time, as always, getting into position. If you need to pause the video to get proper setup, do that, because you don't want to compromise your form. Okay, mentally preparing myself here. Let's go. Knees bending, and they're going over our toes. I know for a long time there was a lot of stuff about like, oh, you don't want your knees going over your toes. That's totally okay. If you think about when we like climb upstairs, our knees are going over our toes, so our bodies are designed to move that way. Shoulders are relaxed, but you're not like pulling them down. They're just kind of in that happy medium. Whew. I always find when I'm holding heavy weights like this, the next day sometimes I bruise really easily on my legs, so I get like little bruises on my legs. Good thing it's not shorts weather here. And we've got 5 because we're going to do some pulses. 4, 3, last 2, and then on this last one we're going to stay low. And what we're going to do, actually I'm going to drop the weight for this one. You're going to come low, and we're going to stay as low as we can. And now you're just going to kind of put your butt backwards. So you're kind of hinging at those hips, sitting your butt back. And then now you're kind of thrusting forward and your butt goes forward. So butt back and forward, back and forward. It's all in the pelvis here. Oh, my legs are burning and shaking. We've got 4, 3, oh my gosh, try to stay low, keep that muscle working. 2, last 1, yeah, good thing I dropped the weight, and then standing up. Okay, for this next one, so you can move your weights out of the way, we're going to do some plie squats. You can either hold maybe your weights in your hands, or you can hold the one heavy weight. I think I'm just going to hold the one heavy weight. So our toes are slightly turned out. Actually, they're quite turned out, sorry. And we're in a kind of wide stance here. Our heels are in line with each other. Just make sure you're even. And then again, instead of sitting like back in our chair, we're sitting down kind of with our chair like right below us. So I'm holding my weight in my hands. If you had your weights in your hands, you can kind of like rest them on your quads here a little bit. Actually, I'm going to do this. This feels a little bit nicer. And it's the same weight. It's 20 pounds either way. Or you can do no weight. We've got 6, 5. Some people like to have their weights like this. You can do that too. 4, 3, 2. Keep trying to get low each time. 1. And then we're going to pulse it out. So we're going to stay low, and just for 10, 9, 8, stay low. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing up. We're going to go back to our shoulders. I don't know why I'm placing those weights down. I'm just trying to kind of clear things out of the way here. And we're going to do our shoulders. Okay, I just had to move my notes. So, all right. Back to our overhead press. I'm doing my split stance again. And we're pressing up and coming down. Using that breathing. I wonder if this mic is now going to pick up how hard I'm breathing sometimes. If you want extra cardio work, try talking throughout your whole workout. Check in with that spine and your butt to make sure you're not tucking or arching. Use your core. I've only got about 2 more left in me. For 2 and 1. If you need to keep going, if you could have kept going, pause the video, do whatever you need to do until you can get to that final one, or when you have like maybe 3 left in the tank where you can do good form. Our biceps. So same thing as last time. Today we're just doing curls. Nothing too fancy. Again, when I'm doing kind of heavier weight, I personally like to start in like the hammer position and then curl up. For some reason, I find that a little bit easier than if I just had my palms forward the whole time. If I'm doing lighter weight, I might do my palms forward the whole time. And since we have a hold at the end of this, we've got 4 and 3. I'm really sweating. It's really cold out, so I thought I'd be really cold. 2. Last one. And then we're going to come up part way again, and we're just going to hold. We're just going to do an isometric hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Take a second before we do our cleans. So palms facing your body. Again, if you want to change your split stance again, you can do that. You don't have to do split. You can have your feet beside each other. And then we're just pulling up, like we're pulling up our pants, leading with the elbows. What I see sometimes is people leading with like their hands, so their elbows are kind of staying down. You don't want that. You want elbows pulling up. And think of your back muscles helping, especially kind of those ones around your armpit area. That's like, this is our back kind of portion. Along with the overhead presses, your back is working. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ooh. Again, if you could have done more, maybe grab heavier weights in the future. I just realized I didn't reset this. Okay. So now we are doing plie squats again with our weights, or weight. I think I'm going to hold this one this time. So we're in our wide stance, toes turned out. Join me when you are set up and ready. Breathing through it. And we're pressing through our full feet, big toes all the way over to little toes, heels. You got it. And as always, we have that no creases in our neck. So you're looking slightly forwards, maybe on the floor. You're not staring quite straight ahead, and you're also not looking down at your feet. Shoulders are relaxed. We've got 4, 3, last 2, and last 1. We're going to stay low. So now we're going to stay low. You're going to lift one heel, lower it down. Lift the other heel, lower it down. Try to stay as low as you can. Breathing. You got it. If you don't like this, go back to doing plie squats. We've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Standing up. Place that heavy weight down. We are done with it now. I'm going to come down onto our knees for that quad matrix move. As I said before, if you don't like this for any reason on your knees or your feet, you can go back to, I didn't catch my breath, you can go back to doing either sissy squats with maybe no weight this time, or regular squats, or more plies. So alternately, you could always just do a wall sit. Those are great for your quads too. Okay, leaning back, keeping those hips open, and then coming back up. As I said, the lower you go, the harder it is. This is a classic Pilates move as well. On the reformer, you can do it, and it actually is a little bit easier on the reformer because you can have weight, like you're holding the straps and it's kind of helping to pull you back up. So I found things like that, like reformer, have really helped me with a lot of weightlifting type exercises. Actually, it really helped with yoga too. I did yoga for the first time in like 7 years the other week, and I could keep up pretty well because a lot of the moves that I did in Pilates have helped me. Though obviously there's things I need to work on in yoga. Last two here. And then last one. Okay. So we have our arms again. We are going to do our curls to start. Actually, yeah, we'll do our curls to start. So I'm just going to stay kneeling for right now. And we're coming up to curl and back down. You know what? I might just sit. You can take whatever option you like here. Standing, sitting, and sit in a chair. Just making sure that you're keeping that neutral spine in whatever position you're doing. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. No pulses or anything here. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, so those are going to rest. Well, actually, we're going to do sissy squats now. So bring them to your sissy squat position if you're doing sissy squats. If you've had enough sissy squats, just do regular squats. So that's how you can do wall sit. So no weight here, because this is kind of our burnout. Hopefully your quads are pretty cooked. Catch your breath. And then we're just going to start lowering down and coming up. And maybe, since you can do whatever you want with your arms, I just like have them on my hips now to remind me to keep those hips open instead of creasing. Since we're not doing any weight, maybe you can do them a little bit faster, or you can get lower. I know there's people, like the goal is you get like way down super low and come up. That's crazy strength. These are really good ones to check out in a mirror or film yourself. I learn lots looking back at my videos of my form. We've got 4, 3, 2, and last one. And then we're going to do those hip hinges. So coming down low, and then you're sitting back, going forward, back, and forward. We're just going to do 10, so we only have 8 more here. 8, 7, try to stay low. You got it. This is the end for our legs. 6, 5, 4, 3. Stay low. You got it. Last one. My legs are shaking. Oh. Okay, and then we have one final move. And then, yeah, shake it out. One final move, and then our stretch. This is a little cardio burst at the end. And I like to do cardio towards the end rather than like in the middle or at the beginning, because you don't want to be too tired to do your heavy weights. So at the end, it's a good time. Also might leave you a little energized at the end. So we're going to do a clean and press. So I have my weights, and I'll show you when to start. So it's that same move we've done before where you're like pulling up your pants, but then now you're gonna flip your grip, bend your knees, and press up. So we're putting together our overhead press with that cleaning position with a squat. So I'll show you from the side. My feet are a little bit turned out. So pulling up my pants, flip my grip, sit down in my squat, and press. And then you're gonna catch it kind of at your shoulders, bending again, and flipping. So join me, leading with the elbows, flip, sit down, press up, and you're kind of using momentum to help you press now. Try to get a decent pace going here. As I said, this is our cardio, full body finisher. Oh man, I do not need those wrist weights on now. Getting tough. We've got 4. Just do as whatever you can here for 3 while keeping that good form. Last 2, I'm really slowing down. If you're slowing down, that means you're near the end. And last 1, make it a good one. Don't compromise that form. Whew. And if you want to keep going, by all means, keep going. I'm going to take off my wrist weights. My wrists are a little sweaty. So yeah, that's a great, the wrist weights are a little tip. 10 pounds is a little bit light for me, but I'm not ready to go up to 15 pounds. So I started with 1 pound wrist weights to get me up to 11 pounds. Now I'm on 2 pound wrist weights. But then you basically just need to kind of bite the bullet and go up to 15. Okay, little stretch. So a couple quad ones we can do. If you need a wall or something to hold on to for this one, have at it. We're gonna do a little standing quad stretch. So you're gonna grab your foot in the same corresponding hand. Think of pressing your knee down towards the mat, opening up your hips here, and standing nice and tall, reaching through the top of your head. And just starting to take some big breaths, calming that nervous system. We'll switch to the other side. Again, take your time here. Maybe stare at a spot on the floor to get your balance, pressing that knee down towards the mat. Just a few more seconds here. And our shoulder stretch, you can reach one arm across and then just kind of grab it. You can either like hold with your hand or just kind of reach up here. And just relax your shoulder. You don't want to have it hunched. Every time I always see people do this, and they're hunched up here, so just relax down. Don't like press your arm down, just have it in that happy medium or natural position. And then other arm, again, check that it's not up by your chin or your ears. And you can press your hands away, stretch. You can flip your thumbs down, press it back for a little bicep stretch. And then for those back muscles, we're gonna reach up nice and tall, side bend over. If you want more, you can grab your wrist slightly, think of stretching all along, back behind your armpit. And then other side, reaching up and over. All right. So again, maybe note down what you did for biceps, shoulders, quads, for the weight, and then how you felt, if you could have done more or maybe less. So the next time that we're doing those, well, maybe that might be different exercises, but still working, then you kind of have a gauge. Or if I say like next time, like, oh, do lighter than your normal bicep weight. You know, okay, my normal bicep weight is 10 pounds, so I'm gonna go a little bit lighter because we might be doing more reps or something. As always, leave any comments or anything. Tomorrow is going to be focusing on the core, and we're going to be using one of the little Pilates or yoga balls. So get ready for that, and I hope to see you next time.